What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the shop. Now I am wood turning and tool making again, so I'm going to make a wooden mallet in this video. Now don't worry, this is not going to turn into wood turning central. It's just that I have a new lathe. I'm quite enjoying playing with it at the minute, so a lot of the content is about wood turning at the minute, but we will get back to making all sorts of different projects in the near future. So I have turned an ash mallet on the lathe. Let's see if the camera will focus on that there, and I'm quite happy with how this turned out. So it's a nice kind of heavy duty wooden mallet, ideal for knocking wooden joints together, slapping in large dowels and persuading things that need persuading. So yeah, it's quite a nice persuader, this. So we're going to make a few more. I have enough ash to make 3 more heads. I have some sapele there and some maple, so we might do some different colour handles just for a bit of contrast. Although the ash, all one piece ash, is quite nice too. Let's see how strong that sapele is. It mightn't make a good handle, but we'll check it out. And if these turn out quite nice, we might give a few away. So stay tuned for that and watch the video. And yeah, we'll decide what we're going to do at the end of this. So hopefully, if I get 3 nice wooden mallets out of what I have left, I'll be able to give them away to some lucky subscribers. So without further ado, let's rock on and make ourselves some wooden mallets. Let's do it. Okay, so this is what we're using to do this then. I have some ash offcuts left over from a board, and the end grain was lengthways on them, so it's a lot of end grain. And I just glued up some blanks together. So put 2 offcuts together and glued them up. And so it's making turning the head quite interesting because you have a whole pile of end grain there, side grain, end grain. And I'm kind of learning on the lathe how to cut into different types of grain. And yeah, so it's a little bit interesting. So I'll show you how to do that. So we have this one. I'm going to cut this one. It's glued up now. We'll cut this in half, and that gives our 3 blanks. Then I have some offcuts from a guitar body in sapele, and this is thick enough to get some handles out of. So we might, if the sapele handle is nice, we might make 2 sapele handles. I have a small bit of maple here as well, which would be big enough to make another handle. So maybe a maple handle on the other one. So we might do 2 sapele handles and a maple handle, and if the sapele doesn't work out, we have some ash, so we can make some ash handles as well. So that's the plan. So let's see what we need to do. I need to unclamp this, take this to my miter saw, cut this in half, and then we need to drill the 3 of them for our center hole for our handle. So let's rock on and do that. Okay, here's our 3 blanks, and I have the center, exact centers of them marked. I'm going to use the center, which is my center line of where my 2 pieces are glued together. I'll also be using that for my center when I attach it to the lathe, so that my 2 center points run exactly down the line of this timber, so that my center hole stays perfectly center of my turning. So that's important. Another thing that's important to do is to make sure that you leave your blanks longer than the actual head itself, because you will be turning down the faces, and you'll be leaving small bits just to cut off. That'll all become apparent when I'm doing the turning. You'll see how that all works. So just remember that, leave your blanks longer than your actual head, because you will be losing bits off the end as you're turning. And make sure that your center hole, the center of your center hole, is kept perfectly centered on your live end and your drive end, which I'll show you when we're mounting it to the lathe. That's important. So I have a 28mm bit in the drill press, and that's what we're going to drill our holes out. So we're going to drill 28mm hole straight through this. That's about 1.25 inches, I think, roughly. And yeah, so simple enough. Let's do it. Okay, that's my holes drilled out in my blanks. Now, what I need to make sure, like I was saying to you, for marking my centers for my drive center and my live center, I need to make sure that that is exactly center of this hole or in line with it, so that when this is rotating on the lathe and I'm turning it, that this remains the center of my hammerhead. So I'm going to make sure that now, and I'm going to get those marks. So to get the center on a piece of wood, you can just join corner to corner like so. A minute there. So So there is my center, and now I just need to make sure that is center of this line here, and it is. So happy days. So I'll mark up all of these now the same way, and we'll get on the lathe and start turning. Right, I've got myself a new bowl gouge. It's a double-ended one, so you can flip this around. So we have, like, I think it's called a fingernail grind on this end, and there's like a bottom bowl grind, I think, on the other end. And this is made by Henry Taylor. The camera will focus on that. Henry Taylor Tools Limited, made in the UK, and it is a pretty nice tool. Now, I still haven't a way of sharpening this stuff yet, so what I've been using is a diamond foil on my actual Leatherman multi-tool. I've seen guys just sharpen their tools with diamond cards, hand sharpen, and they seem to do a good job. So obviously it's not an ideal solution, but it is working for me at the minute, and I'm getting a nice finish on my tools and the things that I'm turning. So yeah, until I decide whether to go with like a Pro Edge or a Tormac or a wet wheel or a grinder, I'm still not decided on what to go for yet. So for now, I'm just going to be sharpening with my Leatherman and my diamond foil, and it's working. So I'm not going to talk you through how to turn timber because I'm not an expert, I'm learning myself. So you can just watch along the process with me. So let's do it. Let's get turning. There is our cylinder roughed out, and I'm actually amazed at how versatile these bowl gouges are. What you can do with them is unbelievable, not just for bowls, but yeah, so we're almost identical diameter the whole way across, so that's pretty good. We'll call that good enough for handmade. And so now I'm just going to work down my two faces, and we'll start doing a bit of shaving, put a bit of decoration onto this. So let's do that. So I'm just measuring the exact distance out from my center the whole time to make all my various cuts and decorations. So I'm going to face this off like that now. That's 10 centimeters or 100 mil out from my center. So let's do that. So our faces are faced off there now, we can finish them later. And so now we're going to put a little cove either side and then a line in it, just for a bit of decoration. So we want to replicate this again. So now that I know my two edges are exactly the same distance out from my center, I can start working back from my edges. And we're just going to come in 20 mil to the start of the cove, measure another 10 millimeters for the width of our cove, and I think it was 50 mil into our line. That's kind of the proportions I was going for, so we'll replicate that both sides. 20 mil, 10 mil, and 15. There we go. Just like that. Okay, that's not bad. Now, like I said, there's a whole pile of end grain in this, as you can see. So it's going end grain, side grain, end grain, side grain, but it's a nice pattern. So I'm going to finish this with sandpaper now, just because I don't want to risk tearing anything out. So let's get sanding. Okay, here we go. We're sanding to 400 grit now, and it's pretty nice and smooth. Now, bear in mind, we are going into end grain in places, so we are kind of porous in some little areas. So super smooth on the side grain, you can see here, and a little bit porous on the end grain. But it's a nice contrast and it's an interesting pattern. So we're just going to hit this now with a bit of sanding sealer, just to seal up that end grain. And this stuff dries in an act. It has shellac in it, so that'll penetrate the wood. It'll just seal it up for us, seal up that end grain because of a lot of end grain exposed. And then we'll hit it with Danish oil when we're finishing it up. So yeah. Let's get this on. Okay, here we go. Like I say, this stuff goes off in minutes. It's already starting to get tacky, and it's only just put on. So that's the first head almost finished. We'll have to flush trim off these when I take it off, but we'll do all the finishing when we're assembling. So I have 2 more of these to make now. And one thing, piece of advice, when you're sanding, watch for this hole. If you get your fingers caught in that, you will lose your fingers. So just be careful the sandpaper doesn't bite and grab the hole as you're sanding over. Keep it nice and light passes over the top of this guy. Just a little safety tip for you there. Yeah, so let me go make the other 2 of these now, and then we can get on to making the handles. Okay, this is where we're at. We have our 3 heads here now, and I've left the little tenons on the end of them because I'm going to put them back on the lathe, just to turn them and sand them one more time. So they're all dried out now with the sanding sealer on it, so you can see how shiny it is. There's a shellac in that, and that will just seal up all the pores. We can sand it again, and then we can get our final finish on it. So these are our 3 handle blanks, so we're going to do 2 sapele and 1 maple. This hammerhead is slightly smaller diameter than the other 2, and this bit of maple is slightly shorter, so we'll put the maple handle on the smaller one, and we'll turn the 2 sapele handles for the larger one. And yeah, it's going to be a nice contrast, I think, with sapele. And I've used this to make guitars and guitar necks, so I'm hoping it will be strong enough to make a good handle. I don't see why not. It is hard to turn on the lathe sapele because it's a kind of it's such an easy wood to plane. It's great to use with a hand plane. It's such a pleasure to actually hand plane sapele, but I've been having some issues trying to turn it, so we'll see. So yeah, onto the lathe again, and let's turn our handles. Okay, so I've set my dividers now to just a little bit wider than that hole saw that I drilled through, so we can set for our tenon. What I'm going to do is do multiple cuts in with my parting tool down to the correct diameter, and then I can work my whole tenon down to that. So let's do that. That's our tenon, and I'm going to leave that rough because we'll be gluing that, so there's no need to sand that. Okay, there's our palm swell cut. It's a little bit thick, we'll just take it down a small bit, but it's almost there. So as long as it feels comfortable in hand, that's the main thing. So yeah, almost there. Okay, here we go. That's one handle roughed out. Now I get on with sanding this, and when I have it sanded I shall get back to you and we'll get a finish on it. Right, there we go. There's our handle sanded to 400 grit. Sapele is a really open grain wood, so we get a bit of sanding sealer into this as well. But they're going to make really nice handles, I think. The contrast with the ash head is going to be pretty lovely. That's going to be a beautiful mallet. So let's get some sanding sealer on this. There we go. Yeah, they are going to be pretty cool. Right, there we go. After many hours on the lathe and lots of sawdust and chippings, we have our heads and our handles. So we have 2 sapele and 1 maple. Now what we have to do is just trim our tenons roughly down to size. Just take the wide bit off the end, trim our tenons off the bottom of our handles, and do the same for the face of our mallets, and then I can sand all that flush. So that's what I'm going to do now. Get my flush cut saw and start flushing off all these if I can find it. Okay, everything is cut up, flushed up, ran on the sander, and all our ends and stuff are trued up. So we're ready for glue up. So, not much to this. Just get a little bit of glue around the top of these, and we'll leave them sit for the night. So we won't need too much because it's a pretty tight fit. Should do. Yeah. Let's keep the best side to the top. Right, we are all sanded up, glued up, and ready for the final finish. So I've put another coat of shellac on them, and I'm just going to give them a little rub with Danish oil. That'll be perfect. So the maple handle was a little bit shorter, so I stopped it kind of shorter inside in the mallet head itself, and then I just put a nice little concave, see it there, just so it wasn't like an open hole and then the handle down inside it. So I've just ran it on the spindle sander and sanded that little section out. I've rounded the top of the sapele one, just like that. So you can see where that fits, and the same with the ash one. So that's rounded out as well. Now, I had one minor hiccup, and that was with this one. The handle was too tight to fit, and as I was hammering it home, I hit it a little bit too hard and split the actual mallet head. So that's one little confession, and that was the other sapele handle, which is here, and I kind of cracked the top of the handle as well. So I'm going to keep this one for myself, and what I'll do is we might do a giveaway on these three. So I'm just going to give these a final finish and give them a rub of Danish oil, then we'll take a final look at them, and yeah, we might talk about a little competition. Let's do it. Right, next up we'll do the sapele. I always like to see oil go on sapele. It's a nice handle, and it's a nice contrast with the ash as well, and it feels good in hand, which is the important thing. And you could keep putting Danish oil on these and getting up to a nice shine on them, but again, they're tools and they're mallets, so it won't be long about wearing them off if they get used. So here we go, that's pretty cool, isn't it? And then the ash one. One final coat on this. There's definitely something nice about all three. I think the all ash one is my favourite. Maybe it's just because it's the first one I made. I think this one would take the most amount of abuse and punishment. Lovely. Just wipe off the excess now. Right, there we go. We are all finished up. This is the maple handled one. Again, you can see the top, I just rounded it out there. So ash head, maple handle. This is the sapele one. Again, the contrast between the sapele and the ash is quite nice. And the all ash one, which I'm not sure, I think it might be my favourite, just because it feels good in hand. It's a bigger one, it's definitely for a bigger hand. It's nice and chunky and heavy. You could definitely do some damage with this one. And with all three of them really, but I think the ash handle would probably last the longest if you were really abusing them. So yeah, there we go. That is 3 mallets. Right, there we go. 3 hammers turned, or 3 mallets I should say, turned on the lathe. And I have to say I am really enjoying the wood turning, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content as well. And the channel has really taken off there, so I think I've added like 500 subscribers in a month, which is phenomenal. As soon as I got past the 1,000 mark, it just went to 500 or 1,500. So yeah, I want to give these mallets to 3 of you guys, And just as a way of saying thanks, and thanks for all the support, all the comments, all the thumbs up, and I really appreciate all the new subscribers as well. There's a couple of ways you could support this channel now if you want. I opened up a merchandise store. I'll leave a link to it down below. Just check it out. There's no obligation to do anything like that. Let me know what the designs, if you think the designs are good or if they're bad. A bit of feedback would help there. And I've also opened up an Amazon affiliate link. So I'll leave links to everything you see me using in the shop will be in the description. And if you just click on the link and go to Amazon, it doesn't cost you a penny extra if you wanted to buy one of those products. And I get a couple of pence from every sale that happens. And even if you don't want to buy that particular product, you can still click on the actual link. If you're buying something from Amazon anyway, I might get some commission, and it doesn't cost you a penny extra. So just a way you can support the channel without it costing you anything. So yeah, as a way of saying thanks, I want to give these away. And just for a bit of fun, I think a good mallet, like a good sword, needs a name. And I would call my mallet Cosúr Mac Tír. Now, Cosúr is the Irish for hammer, and Mac Tír is the Irish word for wolf, and literally translated, it means son of the land. So, Cosúr Mac Tír would be hammer of the land or hammer wolf. So that's pretty cool. So that's what I'm going to call my mallet. And as these are Irish ash, it's fitting to call it hammer of the land as well. So all you guys have to do is in the comments below is to let me know just what would you name your mallet if you got it. And everybody who is subscribed to this channel and comments below, I'll enter you guys into the competition. I'll put all the names in the hat and I'll pull out 3 and I will get these mallets to you. So I'll leave it run for about a month. I think it's, what today? It's around the 10th of January. So we'll say somewhere in and around the 10th of February or that week, I'll do a draw and I'll do an update video and we'll call out 3 subscribers and we'll get these to you wherever you are. So yeah, that's it guys. So once again, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the content and especially the wood turning stuff because I'm really enjoying doing it. And yeah, these are 3 really nice mallets that hopefully 3 you guys will be pretty happy with. So until the next one guys, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share the videos, comments below, and I shall see you in the next one. Take it easy.